Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to What is America to You? I'm your host, Derek Dempsey. And before we start the show, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel, What is America to You, on YouTube. Give us a like. And after the show, you can maybe make some comments on how you felt about the show and the topics. So, our first guest on our first show is a great balladeer from County Cork in Ireland. I've only known Roy a while, but he's a real nice guy. And his single, The Old Man on Patrick Street, is #2 in the Irish download charts. Now, Roy has also been nominated for a Grammy in October, so we're obviously delighted for him and we hope he wins it. He's also going to be releasing a new single very soon. We haven't got a date on it yet, but we will keep you posted. So, without further ado, welcome Roy Buckley to What's America to You.
Hey, hi Derek, how you keeping?
Great.
Is that the king of Times Square I'm looking at?
Well, I'm the king of Times Square in exile.
Okay.
You know, they've
I caught one of your gigs. I caught one of your gigs there one time, a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. The Diddley Idols, Dave Barco and Louise brought me to see one of your shows, and you had them in the palm of your hand. You were brilliant.
Ah, geez, thanks. That's great coming from you, Roy. Thanks a lot. But listen, believe me, I could talk about that all day, but I want to talk about you.
Okay.
Firstly, I love your song. When I first downloaded it, I downloaded it to support you. Then I
Thank you.
listened to it. Oh man, then I listened to it, and I listened to it on repeat. And I walk the nights, especially in this weather with the dogs around where I live, and I was listening to it over and over again, and some of the phrasing, man. I'd bore people if I talked about the phrasing, but I particularly love the end where you talk about seeing just a whiskey bottle. I get shivers. Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, I might have already asked you this, but nobody else heard this conversation. What was the inspiration? I mean, did you see this old man every day when you were going to the studio or going back and forward, or was it just an overall feeling and you used him as a subject?
Well, yeah, he's a fictional character, but I've been asked that question a lot recently, obviously with the song doing so well. But probably one of the main images of that was I remember when I was about 17, I had a summer job because I was still in school, but in the 3 months off, I got a summer job. They were redoing St. Patrick's Street and Oliver Plunkett Street in Cork City. And I was labouring, carrying blocks and doing all that kind of thing. And my brother Dean was also working on the same building site. So we went up on our lunch break. We would go up to a park in the middle of Cork City called Bishop Lucy Park. And we would sit there and eat our lunch. And this old man used to come in almost every day with holes in his clothes and everything, kind of, living rough like. And he'd go up and he'd drink out of the fountain. I just thought that was one thing that was stuck with me for ages. I couldn't get over that. And of course, homelessness is a big thing in Ireland, but it's beyond Ireland as well. You'd always see guys in doorways and everything. And the message in the song really is nobody starts out in life to end up living on a street, So in the case of the old man on Patrick Street, he had a story, but nobody seems to want to listen to him about it, because nobody wants to stop and talk to him, So it's kind of a lonely existence, really,
Yeah,
So to answer your question, though, it's not about any guy in particular. To be honest with you, I didn't think I had the right to be documenting someone else's life, you know what I mean? So I made him a fictional character.
Well, you managed to make a very, it's like, let's say David Bowie with Major Tom. Not a real character, but you brought life to it, which is a real, it's a pivotal moment for a songwriter.
It's a strange thing because I just only like last week, over the last couple of weeks, I get messages and stuff from people asking me about the song, and a lot of people say, hey, I know that guy. And some person in America would message me and say, I know that guy, because they can see him, some guy on the street where they live, And that's great. Like maybe the next time that they pass that guy, they might throw him a few dollars, or they might do something to try and shed some light on the crisis, I would call it, Well,
what you did there was you personified homelessness in the shape of, it's the great old Irish tradition of storytelling.
Yeah.
Again, it's not just Ireland, but on the homelessness, a lot of people throughout my life I've noticed. For instance, when I was growing up, I remember my parents, we'd walk around town, walk over the Halfpenny Bridge, Grafton Street, whatever, and they never would pass a homeless person without comment to us afterwards saying something like, feel sorry for that person in the weather. My mother would say that every night. I feel terrible for that. And I'd see her crying. So both of my parents were very, very empathetic. And then you get the other end of the spectrum of people who would almost spit at them. And there's a severe lack of empathy. And I think that they're, not to sound like an old fogey, but there's a severe lack of empathy seems to be happening more and more with each generation. Now, of course, we raised that generation, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. But anybody who's, poking fun or worse at somebody like that, I mean, that goes beyond ignorance, that's just, that's wrong on no matter what level you look at it from, that you can't be. I remember hearing these stories too, where like guys were like, kicking a homeless guy asleep on the street. I mean, like, who the hell do you think you are to do that to somebody,
What's in the brain at that moment? And it has to be, I believe it's all to do with what you learn from your parents. There's no doubt your parents weren't kicking homeless people. They weren't going to get a job. They were probably doing what my parents did and giving them something. Because my ma used to have this saying, and I'm not religious at all. I'm actually non-religious. My ma used to say, there go I but for the grace of God. And as I grew older, I would say, well, there go I but for the grace of nature or fortune or happenstance, And that's it. So that's why I love the song, because you really, I can see that, man. And at the end of the song, when you see the whiskey, you just feel like, oh.
Yeah, well, look, the thing is, especially in today's world, Derek, like, I think a lot of people think that they're not exactly a million miles away from that, because one bad fall and it could be yourself, on the street, is what I mean. So,
100%. And that's why I think it's such a great topic, especially for our first show, because it's a germane subject to an extent that we're not going to divide people. The majority of people are just, I wouldn't like to be on the streets. I wouldn't like to have to beg. It's something we more or less all agree on. You want to be some type of sociopath to think, I'm glad to see people homeless, But it's an issue. It's an issue all over the world. There's no doubt about it. And you see the cost of living. Since the economic crash in 2008, the cost of living has gone up versus what you earn. So you're right. It's only a hop and a skip and a jump away.
This is it, So I know we started off very morbid now, but
let's get to a happy subject.
But you're right, like it is something that should be spoken about, and maybe what I just said there, like, is the reason why it isn't spoken about enough, because it does draw people down. It's a sad topic, to be speaking about, but it certainly is something across the world that needs to be looked at. It needs to be, something needs to be done about it.
You hit the nail on the head. People don't want to talk about things that bring them down and that can affect them themselves, mental illness, homelessness and stuff. But listen, to really lighten it up before we're going to actually show a video in a second or two, but to really lighten it up, we have a pet flea that's a mascot, and I hold him on this little perch. I don't know if you can see him or not, can you? Tiny now. Now, we're looking for the name because we only found the flea the other day, and this is the way an eagle would land on your hand. Well, we designed this perch, so he's on there right now, but you probably can't see him with the naked eye. But we're looking for a name, so anybody that's watching, I mean, I don't think Roy would suit this. Roy the Flea doesn't sound right. Freddie the Flea is too typical. Maybe people who are watching, they could put some comments in there for the name of the flea. Anyway, so I'm going to put it back on. Jessica made this stand called Thy Holy Flea Perch, so I'm going to put it back here, safe, and it has its own home. All right, Roy, we're going to show a video.
Call him Moses. Call him Moses.
Moses, I like that. There's one. There's one. Jessica Moses sounds good. I like that. Ezekiel.
And they have to flee as well, didn't they, out of Egypt? they have to
flee. I was thinking Ezekiel. Anyway, we're going to show a video of Roy singing. It's a great video of him singing a song with the great Richard Thompson, and the song is called Bee's Wing.
I was 19 when I came to town. They call it the summer of love. There were burning babies, burning flags, the hawks against the dove. I took a job in a steamy way down on Caltrim Street. Fell in love with a laundry girl who was working next to me. Brown hair zigzagged around her face and a look of half surprise. Like a fox caught in the headlights, there was animal in her eyes. She said to me, oh, can't you see, I'm not the factory kind. If you don't take me out of here, I lose my mind. Oh, she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might take her away. She was a lost child, she was running wild. She said, so long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. We busked round the market towns, fruit picking down in Kent. We could tinker pots and pans and knives wherever we went. We were camping down the Gower once, and the work was mighty good. She wouldn't wait for the frost, I thought we should. I said to her, we'll settle down and get a few acres, dog. A fire burning in the hearth and babies on the rug. She said, oh man, you foolish man, that surely sounds like hell. You might be lord of half the world, you'll not own me as well. Oh, she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might take her away. She was a lost child, she was running wild. She said, so long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. We were drinking more in those days, and our tempers reached the pitch. Like a fool I left her run away when she took the rambling itch. And the last I heard, she's living rough, packing the Derby beat. A bottle of white horse in her pocket, a wolfhound at her feet. And they say that she got married once to a man called Romany Brown. Even a gypsy's caravan was too much like settling down. They say her rose is faded, rough weather and hard booze. Maybe that's the price you pay for the chains that you refuse. Oh, she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, and I miss her more than ever words can say. If I could just taste all of her wildness now, if I could hold her in my arms today, I wouldn't want her any other way. If I could hold her in my arms today, I wouldn't want her any other way. I wouldn't want her any other way.
And that was Roy Buckley singing Richard Thompson's Bees Wing. Bees Wing, isn't it? Bees Wing. From Fleas to Bees. That's what we went, from Fleas to Bees. It's like an animal tamer show. They're easy pets to keep, though. You know, Roy, I saw Richard Thompson has a great way of introducing the songs, doesn't he? When he's about to sing them.
Richard Thompson's amazing, boy. Just unbelievable musician and beautiful songwriter, you know.
You ever see the video where he changes the string? And he talks to the audience while he's changing the broken string?
I didn't see that. What's that?
I can't. It's back in the 70s. I think he might have been a bit jarred too, and he's a bit of a drinker, was he?
He changed the string as he was singing.
He broke at the start of the song, and it's like, oh, fuck, he goes, and then he goes, anyway, and he's changing it, but he's talking all about the sound of a change, and he was bringing them into it, and they were cracking up laughing. Small little audience in England, you know. But anyway,
there's a good entertainer, you know. Even when you're changing a string, you're able to keep him there. Richard Thompson is amazing. I love Down with the Drunkard's Roll is another good one he wrote. You know, anyway, yeah, you could talk about his songs for ages. He's a lot of great ones.
Well, what you said about being an entertainer is true. I think I often talk about professionals. You're great. Professionals are a certain level, but a real professional is somebody who can troubleshoot on the fly in a battle conditions, and that's obviously he's one of those greats. You know.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. Speaking of entertaining, you come over here. I think maybe 2 or 3 times a year and tour, and your last one was the whole Paddy's thing. You're supposed to play Las Vegas with the Black Donnellys on Paddy's night, and I know you were coming up to New York, and I probably would have seen you up there. But where were you when you were told it's all cancelled because of the COVID-19?
I was in two nights into the tour. I just got to America, and everything went wrong. Yeah, so I did 2 nights in Redwood in California, and then I had to fly out of San Francisco. I was told, you know, that, as you said, the Black Donnellys. I was supposed to play about a week, I think, in Vegas as well. And their movie came out, An Irish Story, This Is My Home. And, you know, there's a load of us in the movie for little parts and everything. So it would have been, man, maybe it's just as well. I didn't get to do that. Paddy's night in Vegas.
It would have been the tour that killed you.
Yeah.
Here lies Roy Buckley. Now, so you flew back. And what was the flight like? I know that sounds like a mad question, but was it packed? Was it empty? Was it?
No, you see, it was still only kind of. I don't think anybody really knew the severity of it at that stage. It was starting to become scary. You know, people were like, "Get home now." Dave Brown rang me from Vegas and said some of the Irish bands are heading back to Ireland. I think you should look at getting out of here. So a lot of hassle trying to get a flight. And I had a friend in Aer Lingus who managed to get me on a flight eventually out of San Francisco. So, you know, I always try and turn negative things into a positive as much as I can anyway. So I remember being on the flight and I had the Wi-Fi for the plane journey, and I was thinking this was like the 15th of March. And you know me now for the ballads and the Irish folk songs. I was like, fuck that, I'm not having Paddy's Day without some sort of session, you know. So my buddy Bernard got on to me and says, I put up a status in the air somewhere over the Atlantic saying, I'm thinking about doing a live gig, Roy Buckley's Virtual Irish Pub, and contacting my buddy Bernard. He says, do it in my house. He's a bar at the back of his house. So set up the thing, and I was doing it just to kind of give people some sort of a release, really, because like this was before the tip jar thing and all that. I was very apprehensive about putting up a tip jar. I just wanted to do the thing. See, it's different in Ireland. We don't have the tipping culture, but in America, of course, it's everywhere, you know. So I didn't want to do that. So I was literally just doing the gigs I spent about 3 weeks doing Wednesdays and Saturdays just online, taking requests and whatever. But it all kicked off on Paddy's night, and since then I've been doing it every Wednesday and Saturday. And the positive thing that came out of it was when the single came out, I had all these people in Japan and Europe and all over America and stuff waiting for it. So it kind of, in a way, you know, I saw you were doing live stuff as well. Everybody was doing, every entertainer I know was doing some sort of online performance to you know, just, I suppose, stay sane in a way. You know, I love entertaining. I love singing. The thing I miss most is the energy in the room. You know,
that's the key.
You know, I miss it.
Roy, sorry to interrupt you, but that's the key, the energy. And it's like, you know, the reason why people have live music is recorded music in a venue, a bar, a restaurant is not aware of its audience. So it can't play for the audience. It can't read an audience. It doesn't matter if Bohemian Rhapsody is playing or the Green Fields of France. It's unaware of its audience. That's an obvious statement, but it's so obvious it's not thought about.
Yeah, well, going back to what I said to you there, I forget the name of the venue that the Diddley Idols brought me to see you play. But you know, I watched you because I remember Dave Barco saying to me, this guy is one of the best at performing, putting on a show. And I was watching you, like, you would just roll with whatever happened in the room. and you made it funny, or you'd run with it, took the requests and all that. But that to me was brilliant. Now, that's because you're standing there with a guitar and doing your thing. You're able to stop and run with something spontaneously, you know, and that's cool, you know. Like, to me, that's an entertainer who's able to, and it doesn't matter if it's a pub or a theatre. You know, like in the theatre, if, I don't know, if somebody drops a glass and it smashes, and, you know, in the silent thing, if the entertainer turns around and says something funny, it can make the audience feel comfortable again. Yeah, there's something, you know. I'm just trying to think of examples on the spot, but I think you have to have that, and I think the only way you can get that is through experience as well, you know. I remember like going out doing my first couple of gigs when I was a teenager on my own, and I still sing with my eyes closed, but you know, you wouldn't even, you barely introduce a song, you're just trying to, you know, and somewhere along the line you become so comfortable that, you know, you'll do a lot of talking, or you'll introduce something properly, or you'll do whatever. But I think that comes with experience, you know, and you certainly have that anyway. I would say that about you.
You're right. It's experience, right? And then what do they say? You have to do 100,000 hours of anything to be really good at it. But it's when you if you fall, you know, or your guitar drops, or your voice cuts out. I mean, if somebody comes up and grabs you by the on the stage, you know, you just got to keep going. Whereas you were 16, you might be, oh, jeez, what's going on? But it is. You were charging.
That's your fortune in Amsterdam, man.
Whatever the. All right, backwards. You know, I'm sure we could talk. It's funny. I said to Jessica when we were starting this, I don't want people to really know that I'm an entertainer.
Sorry about that, man.
No, it's great because, you know, nobody's going to listen to this when they see it's me anyway. No, I'm kidding. But it's funny. I can't separate that. That's what I am. I'm an entertainer like yourself.
Like Derek, even you sitting down here doing an interview, you're fucking entertaining. You know, so you're not going to get away from it.
I suppose, you
know?
So.
I know you probably have your own reasons for doing that now, but I'm just telling you, it's not. You send me audio messages on Messenger. And you're even doing the entertaining thing and that. You can't go a sentence without saying something funny or doing something. It's in you. It's in you.
It's not that I'm thinking I'm going to be entertaining. I suppose I'm always just trying to have a fucking laugh, you know?
So it's probably the Irish thing as well, you know?
Absolutely. And don't get me started about that. We're always having a laugh because we spent 1,000 years making sure that we didn't do the wrong thing under the foot of the British. Because, you know, you ever hear, did your mother or aunt or grandmother ever tell you, take your hands out of your pockets, Roy? Has that ever said to you much?
Yeah, especially in school, man. You get that in school, take your hands out of your pockets.
The other reason for it was because there was a law, and I'm going to make sure to get, if I have Derek Warfield and I'll ask him to verify this, he's an expert. But the law was, if you had your hands in your pockets, a British soldier could assume that you had a weapon and shoot you dead. So that's why mothers told them, don't have your hands in your pockets, you know. But we spent so long tipping the hat to the British. It's the same in the African-American culture. It's the same to an extent in the Jewish culture, although that went a different way because within 2 years they had Israel. Without getting too political, but us Irish are a product of our Arrested Development and 1,000 years of occupation. Would you like to respond?
Well, I was going to say, and look at you now, you've got your hands in someone else's pocket.
Oh, brilliant.
But you're right, yeah. Look, I get that sometimes. I'll be giving the history of the songs and stuff at whatever gig, and you might get someone saying, "Oh, you sing a fucking happy song." When I go, well, you know, 800 years of fucking shit, man. There's not many happy songs coming out of that, you know.
You know, I often get people saying to me, do something upbeat, and you're after already doing, you know, something breakneck speed. But it's interesting what you said there, do something happy after so many years. I always say that Irish people have this ability to be absolutely miserable and happy at the exact same time. At the exact same, there's nobody else in the world has that. Maybe.
How do you mean? Give me an example.
Like normally, you know, if you're laughing, I don't think it. When a person's laughing, something happens in our brain that we're not able to think of bad thoughts. It's impossible. You can't have that. But I think Irish people, it's like we have wakes. Like when my dad died and we buried him, we were all having laughs and jokes, and I sang My Way a cappella by his coffin at the crematorium at the temple, whatever it was. It was a non-denominational or whatever. And I was going to, remember, I was going to, and the second verse I was going to go, shut up, Dad, it's my song. And everybody would have cracked up laughing. But
Yeah.
the reason I didn't do it was because I was actually too close to tears. But we were
Yeah.
laughing more often than not. And that's why we have those wakes. You know, Peter O'Toole, when he had the wake, he had everybody sitting up in a chair during the wake. But I guess I'm not explaining what I mean.
No, you were, because I know exactly what you mean.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, there was something jumped into my head as you were saying that. I'm sure Dave Brown won't mind me saying this because he often said it live on stage, but I remember Dave Brown's mother's funeral, and he was after asking me to sing Dublin There Are Old Times and all that now as she was going out, and Sharon O'Brien was going to sing The Parting Glass, so, you know, the Dublin thing and all that. Like, so Dave was after playing a piece of music, changed the tune and the guitar, and didn't bother fucking telling me. So I go up to do The Parting Glass with Sharon O'Brien to pick up the guitar and strum it. Boom! And I just looked over at him. And he looked back at me and he was roaring laughing, like trying to hold it in at his mother's funeral. And of course he loved his mother and everything, you know, like, but it was just, you know, he read this, he went, oh, fuck, Bucko's going to go up and pick up the guitar and not know it. So he was waiting for it, you know. And like, it was funny, like, and it kind of lightened the mood a little bit, of course, like, because, you know, everyone who kind of gammed onto it. And then I had to stand there and retune it while the whole church is looking at it. You know?
There's nothing as bad under normal circumstances, right, Jessica? Having to tune your guitar live, but at a funeral. You know, this is why I love talking to you, Roy. When my dad died, I was still here, and it was 6 o'clock. I was ready to do a gig, and I got a call to say, you know, your dad's dead. So I called, and my ma was there at the place where he died, and all the family around. The light was low. My dad was lying in the bed, and the camera went around the room. You know, was it like this? And my ma said to my younger brother Carl, "Come here, shine that camera on your father." And the camera went right to my dad. Face dead. My ma says, "Now you know what you look like when you're dead." And we were all dying laughing, but in bits.
I got a gift of a book. My cousin Katrina every Christmas gives me a fucking stupid book. You know, just a thing. And I got a book. I'm sure it's over there somewhere. 100 Things to Do After You're Dead. And I'm like, she purposely goes out of the way to find them. Like, she also gave me the ginger survival kit.
You're not a full, like, a blaring ginger. You got a touch of brown in the red, haven't you?
I'm actually pissed off about it because I used to be more ginger when I was younger. So I went through the whole mocking phase and now it goes dark. That's not fair at all.
No, it's not fair. Because even if you want to go to therapy about it, they'll go, "You're not a real fucking ginger. Get out." You know? But we're going to show a video, and I do believe that this video is of you singing a live version of The Old Man on Patrick Street. Okay, we're going to show you a video of Roy with a mate of his. I don't know his mate's name, but by the time the video's over...
It's Kieran O'Loughlin.
Kieran O'Loughlin. And this is Roy singing a live version of The Old Man on Patrick Street.
Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day short message, remembering the dead, for the old man on Patrick Street, for the old man on Patrick Street. Well, I'm lucky. In our applause for Lucky, he's very shy.
Brilliant. That was Roy Buckley and Kieran, can't remember his last name, doesn't matter because Roy's our man right now. Live versus the Old Man and Patrick Street. Brilliant. Couple of things about that. One, I judge a singer and an artist by if they can do something in the studio and they sound like the same singer live as the studio, that to me is a real singer. And Roy's a real singer. Secondly, it's such a beautiful melody, and I heard the applaud at the end. You can really hear where the audience are responding to the subject, and I'm not going to get back into the subject of homelessness, but you can check that video out. We'll put a link later on for you. And once again, I'm going to ask you this only 3 times in each show. Could you subscribe to our channel, What is America to You? Okay, so back to Roy. Roy, we're coming kind of close to the end of the show, but there was a thing called the Marcel Proust questionnaire, the Proust questionnaire, and there was a French talk show host who used to do it at the end of his show. It was originated from when Marcel Proust was at like a dinner party, and some other person who had devised the questionnaire asked him, and his answers were very famous. Now, I have a mix between this and the Dempsey questionnaire, so I've devised my own. Do you ever remember James Lipton in the Actors Studio?
I do, yeah.
He used to ask it, right? So mine is more
My
cracking.
favourite was when Will Ferrell. Did you see that where Will Ferrell used to act James Lipton out? Did you ever see him doing it? Where Will Ferrell dresses up as him?
Brilliant.
Gold, yeah. Anyway, do I have to answer these in French?
If you want to, s'il vous plaît. They're written in Hebrew. They were written by Moses. Okay. Right. So listen, I designed this questionnaire for.
There's something about tablets, isn't there? There has to be.
You what?
There has to be some joke in there about tablets, doesn't there?
Probably. Well, I'm kind of on a tablet.
But did Moses kind of about tablets or something? Did he? This turned into a fucking religious thing, didn't it? Why am I keep on about Moses for?
Listen, I'm basically somebody who doesn't believe in any gods or any religion. So
I'm not religious either.
No, I know. But so I would be an atheist. But we are culturally Catholic. We were raised in a Catholic country. We
absolutely. Yeah.
We know more about the Bible than most people like me.
Well, I think me and you waited till we got our confirmation money, and then we gave it up.
and the tin of fruit. I wanted to look well, you know. All right, so this is kind of designed for people who have an affiliation with America, whether it's like you tour here, or people who lived here. So the first question is, well, actually, this question, you haven't emigrated yet, but what album or song do you most associate with your first time in America?
Oh, album. Born in the USA, I'd say Springsteen.
Great. Next question. How much money did you have the first time that you came here on tour?
Oh I don't know. I had a couple of grand.
Oh,
but,
even posh bastard, you.
I know, man. I knew I was going to Vegas, like, so don't get me wrong. True story. Myself and Dave Brown. I keep bringing up Browner as well, but every time I go to America, I'm always seem to be around him, and he's a legend. So he had been over and back to Vegas. This is before they emigrated, and so he brought me in through Mandalay Bay and everything, and it was my first time in Vegas, and all the lights and the big massive thing, and I remember walking through the casino floor with Browner, and all the machines are going off and all that, and he said, "Well, we're here now. Do you want to sit down and play?" So I said, yeah. So we sat down and put $20 into the one-armed bandits, and about 4 rows over, I swear this is true, about 4 rows over, this guy says, "Well, I just won $15,000. Me and Bruno couldn't get enough money into the machine." Two of us lost 1,500 quid each the first night I was ever in Vegas. So, yeah, answer. I went there with money, but I didn't have any money pretty fast.
Jesus Christ. Okay, next question.
That's
When you come to America, you know that your accent is strong and you have to switch it up a bit to be understood. Are there any words that you pronounce now that you're back in Ireland that people will say, Jace, that sounds very American, or have you not had that?
I might say something else, like if I do a 5-week trip in America, I could come back and say something like the hood of a car instead of the bonnet. Or I could say, those kind of ones, like, and then in Ireland, of course, your friend's going to go, oh, look at your man with the fucking twang.
It's unreal. I tell you.
I was away for 5 weeks, man. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Do you read a lot, Roy?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
What was the last...
Not a lot, like.
Right. What was the last book you read?
I got a gift from Phil Coulter of his new book, Bruised Never Broken.
Right. And I love what Phil Coulter said about you. He said you were the last of the great balladeers.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend. I'm actually meeting him this week. I'm going to Dublin on Thursday to do a few things with him. So he's a legend.
Right, he is.
He's a legend. We became friendly. He came and played some of my song collector sessions over the years. I think 2014 was the first time he came down. He did 4 shows with me between Cork and Kerry, I'm not sure if you're aware about my song collector sessions
or not. I am indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so he came and did a few of them, and after that we were friendly and things. He pulls me in on his Christmas show every year and whatever. So yeah, he's a real champion of mine, I have to say. He's a legend.
And that's a great thing to have, because he's the only Irish man that's ever written anything for Elvis Presley, my boy.
Well, he's the only non-American to write a top 5 single for Elvis, and my boy. And the funny about that, he wrote that for Richard Harris, the actor. Yes. They toured it in America, and Elvis heard it. And the thing was, like, because I asked Phil this, he was on the podcast with us, and I asked him, how did he end up pitching his song to Elvis? And it turns out that they didn't pitch it at all. Elvis heard it and wanted to do it. And the great thing I thought, for, because it's all royalties and that kind of thing, and fellas would have gave away 80 or 90% of their song just to have Elvis do it. He didn't get anything from my boy because he just wanted to do it for himself. I thought it was great for an Irishman to do that.
You're saying Phil Coulter never got rights to it?
No, I'm saying Elvis never, or anyone never got anything from it. Like, by the time a song would have gotten to Elvis, somebody would have been taking 5% here or 10% there, or just before it even got to Elvis.
What one thing would you like to see disappear from the world to make it a better place?
War.
Brilliant.
On anything.
Yep.
War on fucking anything. Whatever what the war on such a thing is this fucking next 5 years, and then there'll be something else, Get rid of the whole thing. That's what I think.
We're in a constant state of war. I don't know who said it, but somebody once said there's no such thing as a bad peace, and there's no such thing as a good war. I think it's a great quote. War, war. Bang on, I'm 100% with you on that. 3 more questions. Who's your favourite singer? Who's your favourite singer, and why am I?
I have loads, though. That's a hard one to answer.
Yeah.
Can I answer it in different genres?
Yeah, any way you want, You tell me to fuck off if you want to.
I have to pick one.
You can pick 3.
3.
Or in categories, anything you want.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, Irish folk music is a big thing in my life, and I have a lot of heroes there. Luke Kelly, Liam Clancy, and Finbar Fury, and fucking Jim McCann, and Paddy Riley, and all them. They're all heroes of mine. Outside of that, I love, obviously, like, Elvis is a legend. We mentioned him there. I love people like Billy Joel. I love people like... I love a lot of songwriters too, though, and like I love how Bob Dylan or Guy Clark or Albert Hammond or someone will write a song or deliver it, and that doesn't, or Willie Nelson, someone who mightn't have a massive range, but I believe them when they say it. But I do. I there's so many. I couldn't possibly pick one.
Right. I always pick Sinatra because she just...
Yeah, like Sinatra, like.
That's a covered, Okay, one more question. What is America to you, Roy?
Free would be a word.
Excellent.
accepting, willing to what like. It's certainly a place where people like to see others succeeding. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They get behind something. You know, they're. I'd say free for the more. If I had to pick one word, I think you're allowed to be yourself, or you're allowed, you know, the land of opportunity and all that. You know, that is there. You know.
Right. So listen, Roy. Before you go, we want to wish you the best of luck. Further success with The Old Man on Pasture Street. It's a class song. Secondly, when your new song comes out, we'll promote it here. But the most important, let us know. Keep us in touch. I know you will. No, it's cool. So listen, the biggest thing of all is we know you're not going to be going over in October to see that you win the Grammys. You're going to be going over to pick them up. It's only a matter of formality. So would you make us I'm going to put you on the spot. Make us a promise, Roy, that you'll come back on the show when you win the Grammy. Can't say no now.
I hope you're around in 50 years, man. But yeah, look, we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But when the ballot comes out in October, my song is in there somewhere, and we'll see what happens after that. Then, you know.
So we could say that to continue with our wordplay, we hope your ballot is on the ballot. Roy, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks a million for coming on our first show. We couldn't have asked for a better guest. And Moses says, "All right, bye."
Thank you very much to all you guys, yourself, Derek, and Jessica, and all the gang. I want to wish you all the best with your new show, and stay safe in New York over there, man. I know it was a hot spot for a while with all this going on, so I hope to see you in Times Square soon. You can take back over your crown when I'm gone.
Okay. All right then. From the Big Apple to the People's Republic. Out, Roy. Thanks.
See you soon.
Thanks, Roy. Okay, that was Roy Buckley, the great singer-songwriter from Ireland, currently number 2 in the Irish download charts with his great song, The Old Man on Patrick Street. He's a new single coming out soon. You heard him talking about that in the show. We will promote it on here. And, of course, he's going to come back on in October when he picks up the Grammys. All right, that comes close to the end of our show. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, What is America to You? We encourage comments, anything you want to say. I'm sure Roy will jump in if he's around and comment on anything. You can also follow any of Roy's songwriter sessions. We'll get those links in there. If you do comment, stay respectful, be kind to each other. It's too short of a life and too much madness in the world to be unkind. So from me, your host Derek Dempsey in New York, and from the woman that makes it all happen, the Renaissance woman Jessica Klee. So for now, from me and Jessica, and from our show, What is America to You? Goodbye for now.